Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay. Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. So we have come yet again in our English online class. So without further ado, okay, let's begin our class for today. Okay. So in our previous lesson, we have learned about the text of the adventure of the Mazarin Stone. Yeah, if you guys remember in our previous lesson. So we have also learned a little bit more about who is the author of the Adventure of the Mazarin Stone. So which is the creator, also the creator of Sherlock Holmes, of course, which is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So we know that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is a very talented writer. He is very famous and he is, you know, very well known for his work, which is the famous detective Sherlock Holmes. Yeah. So we have also learned about the character traits. We have also learned a little bit about Sherlock Holmes on how he is. Yeah. So we have also learned about Dr. Watson. So Dr. Watson is who, if you remember. So Dr. Watson is, you can say that Dr. Watson is the one who always accompanies Sherlock Holmes. So you can say that Dr. Watson is Sherlock Holmes' sidekick. So we have also covered the chapter 1 excerpt of the adventure of the Mazarin Stone. So you guys have also done the reading exercise for the chapter 1 of the adventure of the Mazarin Stone excerpts, which is you can find it on your textbooks and page 28. Okay. So however, that is only for our previous lesson. But how about our lesson for today? So in our lesson for today, we are going to learn three things. We are going to learn mainly emphasis on grammar. So today's lesson might be a little bit boring for some of you guys, but it's okay. So I will try to make it, as interesting as I will try to make it as not heavy as possible lah. Yeah. So for today's lesson, we are going to learn three things. Yeah, three things, which is a very important part of English grammar. So first we have the past simple. So we have past simple. The second one we have is the past continuous. Past continuous. And then the third one, the last one, we have the phrasal verbs. So we are going to cover these three things in our English lesson for today. Yeah. So okay, without further ado, we will begin now. Okay. So the first part of this lesson, we are going to learn about the past simple and past continuous. So these two are actually quite a pair. Oh yeah. So we have past simple and also past continuous. So before when we read this title, yeah, the title, yeah, past simple versus past continuous. So we have different questions pop up in our mind. So what are those questions? Yeah. So okay, for example, so some of you might be wondering, what is past simple and what is past continuous? So how are they different? Is there any difference between past simple and past continuous? So maybe we all know about past tense. So I'm pretty sure you guys know how to create past tense. So usually to get past tense, you use a verb, you have a verb, and you add ed. For example, walk. Yeah, berjalan. WALK. So you just add ed at the back and it becomes a past action. So it can become a past sentence if you do it correctly. So it will become I walked to the shop last night. So it will become a past tense. Yeah. However, so what is it a past simple or is it a past continuous? So maybe some of you guys didn't know that. So that is what we are going to learn today. So what is past simple and what is past continuous? Do they different from each other? And we will also learn when should we use past simple sentences and when should we use past continuous. Yeah. So okay, so we will learn more detail as the lesson progresses. So free up your mind, stay calm. So it might be a little bit heavy because it is grammar lesson, but please bear with me lah. Yeah, I will try to make it, as light as possible. Yeah. So okay, so first of all, we will watch a video. So this video, it will explain you a little bit more about the past simple and past continuous. So okay, so let's hear and watch the video. Okay, shall we?
About the past simple and the past continuous. Look at these sentences. I watched the telly last night. I was watching the telly last night. The first sentence is in the past simple. The second sentence is in the past continuous. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to form a past simple and how to form a past continuous, and when to use a past simple and when to use a past continuous, and more important, the difference between the two. First, we're going to have a look at how to form both tenses. As you might know, in the English language, we have regular and irregular verbs, and this is important to remember when forming a past simple. To make a past simple, for the regular verbs, we use the base form of the verb and we add ed. For example, he worked late last night. The irregular verbs have their own unique past tense, so you need to study those carefully. I bought a new t-shirt yesterday. The infinitive form of the verb bought is to buy. For past continuous, we do not need to care about regular and irregular verbs, because all past continuous, whether they are irregular or regular verbs, are formed by using was or were, the past tense of the verb to be, the base form of the verb, and ing. For example, he was working last night. Or, I was buying a t-shirt when I saw her yesterday. Now let's have a look at how to use a past simple and how to use a past continuous and how to keep them apart. We use a past simple for activities that were finished in the past. We usually use a time frame. He worked late last night. Here, last night is what we consider a time frame. Or, I bought a new t-shirt yesterday. Here, yesterday is a time frame. A past continuous is used for activities started and finished in the past, but we want to emphasize duration, so we want to show the other person, the other listener or reader, that it lasted for quite some time. For example, he was working all night, so we want to emphasize that it lasted the entire night. We also use a past continuous for an ongoing action in the past interrupted by a sudden event. For example, I was buying a t-shirt when I ran into her. So I was doing something and then suddenly a friend came up to me. That's when I ran into her. Please note that for the interruption we use a past simple. So we often find a past continuous and a past simple in the same sentence, where the past continuous shows us that it was a continuing activity and the past simple shows us the interruption of that activity. Thank you for listening. For regular updates, please subscribe to youtube.com/EnglishGrammarSpot or go to my website www.englishgrammarspot.com. Welcome to English Grammar.
So okay, so that's it for the video. So from that video, so we have learned about, so we have a general idea about what is past simple and also past continuous. Yeah, so let's look at back the video. So okay, so okay, so first of all, let's look back at the video. So look at the sentences. So I watched the telly last night. So telly is actually television. Yeah, tele is actually television. So this video is actually made by a British speaker. So in Britain lah, British English, they would say television as tele. So another word that is quite similar for them is, so usually we would say in American English cockroach, right? Lipas, cockroach. So however, in the British, they would say roach. Yeah, so this is actually one of the examples, yeah, that one of my students pointed out, yeah, during my previous class a few days ago. So okay, just to make things clear, tele it means, yeah, television lah. So I watched the television last night. I was watching the tele last night. So you can see that we are in these two sentences. The first one is the past simple sentences. You have the verb, you have the base verb, yeah, watch, and then you add ed, so it becomes the a past action, yeah. So I watched the television last night, and then you have this sentence: I was watching the telly last night. So this is actually a past continuous past continuous tense, yeah. So I was watching, you have the verb watch, however you add ing, and also you have the time period, yeah, such as, yeah, if you notice the video from before, like the speaker of the video, that they tell you that there is a specific time frame at the end of the sentences, okay. So in this video, we will learn about how to form a past simple and past continuous. So, and also when to use a past simple and past continuous. So okay, so this is on forming a past simple and past continuous. So we have past simple over here. So past simple for regular verbs. So where we have regular verbs and also irregular verbs. So he gave the example of verb plus ed. So this is something that we all know, like in order to create a past sentence, we have the verb and we need to add ed after the verb. So it becomes a past simple sentence. He worked late last night. So this action has already happened. Yeah, he has already worked late last night. So we have the specific time frame, but it's in the past, yeah. And then we have the irregular verbs. So irregular verbs, it will become a unique past tense. For example, I bought a new t-shirt yesterday. So maybe some of you are wondering, um what is regular verbs and what is irregular verbs. So what are these two things? So in English, we have the verbs in which we can add ed. For example, okay, so one of the examples is work lah. So work, you can add ed, right? You can add ed, so it becomes a past tense. However, in English, there exist several verbs where they have their own words, yeah. They have their own words when you transform it into the past tense. For example, um buy, yeah. For example, buy. So buy, you cannot put the verb buy, buy, and you add ed after it. So no one says, and there's no English word says buy it, yeah, buy. No. For example, say. So you cannot say say. Okay, so the best verb for say is say. So you cannot add ed after it to show that it happens in the past. You cannot say sayed. Say it, yeah. So you have it has a specific word to indicate that it has already happened in the past. For example, so for say, you turn it into a past tense and past word, okay, it will become said. So it has its own specific word to show that it happens in the past, to show that it has already happened. Yeah. So those are irregular verbs. Those are irregular verbs that that is quite different with regular verbs. Yeah. So irregular verbs are verbs that you cannot add ed after the verb to show that it happens in the past. So they have their own unique words, yeah, to show that they are happening in the past. So for example, buy, so it will be bought. For example, run, yeah, run, run. So if it happens in the past, it will be ran, ran, ran. So for example, eat, yeah, eat. So eat is the base verb, eat, eat, yeah, makan, eat. So if it happens in the past, you have already eaten, eh? So it will become ate, ate. I have already ate lunch, yeah. Okay, so that is the difference between regular verbs and irregular verbs. So for you to memorize, yeah, the irregular verbs. So the only thing that I think you should do in order to know more about irregular verbs is that as long as you read more, as long as you try to read more, so try to read novels, text, short stories, essays. So which whenever you are free, or whichever genre that you prefer, so it would greatly help you to in order to know what is irregular verbs. So what are the examples of irregular verbs and irregular verbs? Yeah. So you can also try to find the list. So we have the list. You can find the list in the internet. So what are the list of the regular verbs which you can add ed, and what are the list of irregular verbs which has their own unique past tense? Okay. So let's go to past continuous. Okay. So past continuous is applicable to all verbs also. So however, you need to have this a sentence structure lah. So was, you need to choose was over, and then you need to have the verb in the middle, and you need to add ing after the verb to be. Eh? So for example, he was working last night. So it is past continuous. Okay. So let's see the second example. I was buying a t-shirt when I saw her yesterday. Yeah. So that is past continuous. So something is happened continuously. So it happens, or it started and finished in the past, and then it would be past continuous. So you need to do so it would be so it would be so you need to use so you need to use this sentence structure in order to tell that to deliver that meaning, to deliver that effect in your sentence. Yeah, was over plus verb plus ing. Okay. So how to use a past simple and past continuous? Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let's fast forward for a bit. Okay. So okay, for past simple are activities that has finished. Yeah, the activities that are finished in the past. So it would usually includes a time frame. So the activities has already finished. Yeah? That is past simple. For example, so let's see the first example. So he worked late last night. So you also includes a time frame. So however, that time frame needs to happen in the past. Okay? Because it is past simple tense. You cannot say that he worked late tomorrow. Huh? So it is quite contradictory. Tomorrow hasn't really happened. So it happens in the future. Tomorrow is a tomorrow is a future time frame. Okay. So however, you need to make sure that your time frame happens in the past. For example, last night, for you can say that it happens 2 days ago, which has happened in the past. 2 days ago, 1 year ago, last week, eh? A few minutes ago, a few hours ago. Okay, so you need to make sure your time frame happens also in the past. So if you are doing a past simple sentence, okay. So for example, he worked late last night. Okay, so let's see the second example. I bought a new T-shirt yesterday. Okay, so this is one of the examples of the irregular verbs, yeah, such as like the one that I have explained to you before. Okay, so I bought a new T-shirt yesterday. Okay, yesterday was also a past time frame. Yeah, it also happens in the past. So it's okay. Allah. So let's go to past continuous. So past continuous are activities that has started and finished in the past. So you have these activities that has started and finished in the past. So you will need to emphasize the duration. So that is past continuous. So he was working all night. So if you compare from this sentence and this sentence, which one has the more emphasis on its duration, which more has the more impact on the duration itself? So he worked late last night. Okay, so from this sentence, you didn't really know for how long did he work late last night, right? So however, if you use past continuous, you can also say that he was working all night. So it shows an emphasis. Emphasis ni dia macam yang apa? Uh, dia emphasize lah. Dia lagi membagikan impact. So it gives a more impact on the time frame. Yeah, the duration itself. So dia ada bagi specific time frame lah. So you will know on how long. Allah. Okay, sorry about that. So he was working all night. So all night is an emphasis on the duration. So in that way, okay, you have the idea on how long he was working last night, right? So if you say last night, you didn't really know for how many hours that he worked late. Yeah, how many hours he worked late? How many duration? Yeah, he worked late. So however, for past continuous, we can emphasize the duration. For example, all night. So we know that he was working from the start of the night until the end. So until tomorrow morning. So he was working all night. So you already know, you get the general idea of the duration. Yeah, tempo masa dia. Yeah. And then you have okay, so it is also have you can use it for ongoing action in the past. So benda-benda yang tengah berlaku, but however it is interrupted by a sudden event. Okay, so okay, let's see what they have the example right there. Okay, so for example, I was buying a t-shirt. So I was buying a t-shirt is an ongoing action in the past. So I was buying a t-shirt. So the action has already happened, but it is still ongoing. So I was buying. At that moment, I was buying a t-shirt. Pada masa tu saya tengah membeli t-shirt. Yeah. However, kemudian saya terserempak dengan seorang perempuan. But when I ran into her, at the same time I ran into a woman. Yeah, when I ran into her. So interrupted by a sudden event is this one. When I ran into her. I was buying a t-shirt. When I ran into her. So there are two actions happening in this sentence lah. Yeah. But and both of this happens in the past. Okay. Okay, so that's it for past simple and past continuous. So I hope that you guys can learn something new from past simple and past continuous. Will gain more deeper knowledge about past simple and past continuous. So however, if you guys have any questions on past simple and past continuous, you can try to message me on Telegram. So you can ask me questions over there. Okay. So, okay, let's go to the next part. So the next part is phrasal verbs. So phrasal verbs is the last part for our lesson for today. Yeah. So phrasal verbs. So maybe okay. So let's see phrasal verbs. So these are the examples of phrasal verbs. Okay. So maybe I'm sure you guys have stumbled upon these phrases, these sentences, these words. Yeah, you can say these words phrases as well, so you can okay, so maybe some of you have encountered these words. Yeah, fall through, brush up, put up, foot off, lift up to, get round to, when you are reading your English textbooks, well, when you are reading your essays, when you are reading your storybooks, novels or something. So or maybe when you are scrolling your social media. Yeah, so you can found these phrasal verbs actually quite commonly lah, either in written English or oral, yeah, oral, yeah, speaking English, yeah, when you use English to speak, yeah. Okay, so let's see what is phrasal verbs. So what the first question is, what is a phrasal verb? So phrasal verb, it is the combination of a verb plus a particle, so a preposition or adverb. So this will result in a new phrase with a new meaning. So the new unit is different from the two separate words. Okay? So phrasal verbs are very common in spoken and written English. So we need them to understand and also speak natural English. So knowing phrasal verbs are also one of the best ways to learn how to use prepositions. So maybe some of you guys didn't really have the knowledge about, okay, sir, apa tu particle, sir, apa tu preposition, apa tu pula adverb, sir. So it's okay. So we will go to the next part. So I will explain a bit more detail on the next part. Okay. So the important thing is, so first of all, we need to learn that we have phrasal verb. So phrasal verb, what is phrasal verb? Phrasal verb is actually the combination of a verb plus a particle. So a particle can be a preposition or an adverb. Okay? So it's either of these two. So antara ni dua lah. So preposition atau adverb. So these two are called as a particle. Okay? So, okay. So this is the some of the examples lah. So some of the examples of common phrasal verbs. So as we have read from before, right? Okay, so when a verb meets a particle, it will deliver a different meaning. So for example, check off. So it means that you make a mark. Yeah, make a mark next to. Yeah, so it has a different meaning. So pass out. So pass out means that you become unconscious. For example, carry on. So it means continue. So okay. So maybe some of you get, oh okay, sir, macam still blurry lah, sir. So it's okay. So okay. So before that, so let's look at the structure of phrasal verbs itself. So in order to create the components of a phrasal verbs, you need to have a verb. So the first part, you need to have a verb, and then it will be accompanied or followed by preposition or a particle. Okay. So for example, so we have the verb uh, on the left hand side. Yeah. And then we have the preposition or particle on the right side. Okay. So for example, look up. It means looking up. Yeah, look up. Okay. So make up. So makeup, it has several meanings. So makeup is, the cosmetics, yeah, makeup. So you can also, there are also several meanings of makeup. So makeup is, uh, we so no, sorry. So for example, okay, so anyways, put up, okay, put on, take down. So take down means you are taking someone down, or you are pushing someone down. Yeah, get over, run over means you are langgar someone. Okay, so those are the verbs and the examples of verbs and prepositions as well. Okay, sorry, I got a little bit confused. Okay, so okay, let's say on the example. Yeah. Okay, so the verbs is plus preposition of a particle. So for example, so you have the verb look, you have the verb look and the preposition of particle for. So look for means search. You are searching for something. Can you look for my pen in the bedroom? Okay. So for example, makeup. Yeah, makeup is also uh delivers a different meaning, which is invent. Yeah, so it also means invent. So okay, so for example, put out, so means you extinguish. So can you put out that fire? That fire is dangerous, please put out that fire. Okay, so take off means leave the ground. So the, for example, okay, so the rocket is about to take off in a few minutes. Okay, so it's what to leave the ground. Leave the ground. Yeah. Astaghfirullahaladzim. Okay. Okay. Next we have get over means you are trying to recover. So it delivers a different meaning. So as long as you have these verbs and it is accompanied with this preposition or particle, yeah, for, up, out, of, over, out of, up, down, up, on, yeah, it will deliver a different meaning rather than its literal meaning. Yeah. So okay, so usually, so we also have phrasal verbs where we have these three parts. Okay, we have three words. Yeah, that is the phrasal verbs has three words. Yeah, so we have the verb, we have the particle, and we also have the proposition. Yeah, so for example, keep up with. So keep up with means that you are advancing at the same pace. So, for example, I was jogging with my brother. So I asked him, so can you keep up with me? Can you keep up with my pace? Okay. So boleh ikut kak rentak aku berjogging? So yeah. So it delivers a different meaning. For example, run out of. So have none left. For example, in the sentence, uh, okay. So example in the sentence, in the kitchen, we have run out of sugar. Okay. We have run out of sugar, so I need to go to the shop and buy more sugar. Okay, so that is run out of, so means that you have none left. So I have no sugar, so we have run out of sugar, so we need to go and buy more sugar at the shop. Okay, put up with, it means you are bear patiently. Yeah, so look forward to, it means that you are expecting with pleasure. So I look forward to attend your English class for tomorrow. Okay. So that is one of the examples. So phrasal verbs, usually so it has, usually it will be two words, like it will be most common for two words. Okay. So we have the verb or either particle or preposition. Yeah. So or adverbs. And then we have this kind of phrasal verbs lah. So that would usually be made up by three words. Yeah, which is a verb. It has the verb, of course. It has the verb, and then it has the particle, and then it has the preposition as well. So phrasal verbs, they have the ability to express uh, a particular meaning. Okay, so it could be literal, yeah, means direct. Yeah, so literal, it means direct. So it is something that is easy for you to understand. Yeah, it's very simple, literal. And then we have the idiomatic meaning of the phrasal verbs. Okay, so let's look at the literal meaning. So take off your jacket. So it means he wants you to take take off your jacket. So take it off lah. Yeah. For example, put out the cat. So it wants you to let the cat outside of the room. So it wants you to put out the cat. Okay. So, okay, so for example, okay, let's see the example. Look at the picture. So it wants you to look towards to look at the picture lah. Yeah. So it is very quite easy for you to understand. Yeah, literal means that it is quite straightforward. So it's quite easy. Hmm. So you can easily guess the meaning. Like you can easily get the meaning if it's delivers a literal meaning. Okay. So these are the phrasal verbs that shows the literal meaning. So however, some phrasal verbs also has, idiomatic meaning. So this is a bit more abstract, so a bit more confusing for new language learners, especially for new English language learners. So this they might be a little bit confused if they see phrasal verbs that is quite peculiar, or maybe they haven't encountered, yeah, dorang tak jumpa lagi phrasal verbs such as this one lah. Okay, so it will be harder for them to guess the meaning. Okay. So for example, I've taken up golf. So it means that he has already, tried. So I have tried golf before. So I have taken up golf. So he has, tried to participate in golfing. So he has tried golf. Okay. So for example, okay, so the second example is the car broke down. So it means the car is having a problem. So the car broke down. So only 20 people turn up. So turn up is not a literal meaning. So if you are to translate it literally, turn. What does turn means? It means you are turning something. So I am turning, for example, so I have this pomade. So turn. So that is literal meaning of turn. Turn up. Turn up. So only 20 people turn up, so it doesn't really make sense. So that is idiomatic meaning. So where it delivers a meaning that is uh, different to the word that it is shown. So it is quite different lah. So even though it says turn up, so it delivers a different meaning rather than the literal meaning of the words itself. Okay, so only 20 people turn up. So it means that only 20 people attended. Yeah, only 20 people yang muncul. Okay, 20 people yang muncul. Okay, so only 20 people turn up means only 20 people has attended the ceremony, for example lah. For example saja. So okay. So let's see phrasal verbs with literal and idiomatic meaning. Okay, so this is also one of the examples lah that they have provided. So for example, put out. I always put out the cat at night. Okay, so it means that he would let the cat outside of his house at night. I always put out the cat at night. Okay, so for example, so you have, yes, let's take a look at this icon over there. So this is a secret icon. So okay, so for the sentence, put out the cigarettes, please. So it means that you need to extinguish your cigarettes lah, because it has the fire there. So he wants you to put out the cigarettes. Yeah. So okay, pick up, for example. Can you please pick up the diskette for me, please? I dropped it. So picking up something lah. So can you pick up the diskette for me? Okay. And then I picked up some new slang expressions while watching that movie. So you have this one is literal. So this is quite easy for you to understand. Can you pick up the diskette for me? So it means that he wants you to pick that up for him. Okay. So, however, if you see the sentence, I picked up some new slang expressions. So I picked up some new slang expressions means that he learns. Yeah, he gains some information. He gains some knowledge about some new slang expressions. So he has learned about some new lang new slang expressions. Yeah, that is what he meant by I picked up some new slangs expression. Means that he has already learned some new slangs while watching that movie. So means that he has already learned some new slangs. Okay, so that is idiomatic meaning. Okay, okay. So this one is the same as well. So take off. Okay, take off that funny party ad. You look stupid in it. So take off. So it wants you. He wants you. It's just the sentence says that he wants you to take off that funny party ad. Okay. So this one is the more idiomatic meaning. So the plane took off 10 minutes ago. Took off in this sentence means is that it to leave the to leave the ground. So the plane took off 10 minutes ago. So the plane took off 10 minutes ago. So that is the idiomatic meaning of the phrasal verb. Okay. So let's go back to the presentation. So this is all the common, yeah. You can there are lots of phrasal verbs, yeah, in English. So you can try to find a list of phrasal verbs, yeah, just for your own knowledge, yeah. Just you can also use that to increase your vocabulary. So these phrasal verbs, you can also use them in your sentences lah. So the usage of these phrasal verbs in your sentence, yeah, in your essays, yeah, it will be such a good method for you to do, because you know when you have these when you use phrasal verbs in your sentence whenever you are doing an essay, yeah, or maybe you can also use phrasal verbs when you are speaking in English as well. So, the use of phrasal verbs in our written English and speaking English is also to show that we have the ability to understand the rules of the phrasal verbs. Yeah, we have. It shows that we have a deeper understanding of the language itself, and it can also be a good way for you to make your sentence to be more interesting. So when you use phrasal verbs in your sentence, yeah, or maybe or when you are speaking to someone, so you use this kind of phrasal verbs, so it would sound a little bit more, your sentence will become more interesting. So it will become more interesting for you to read. So for for somebody else to read. So it will become more interesting for somebody else to read or to hear. Yeah, when you use it in your speaking or writing. Yeah. So it is very good idea for you to learn. Yeah, to master. Yeah, to learn as many as possible phrasal verbs as you can, so that you know you can make things more interesting, and then in that way you can increase your vocabulary as well, and you can also improve in your English as well, generally speaking. Eh? So okay, so that's it for our class for today. I know it's been tiring, it's been a rather dry grammar class. However, I've tried to make it a little bit simpler, a little bit interesting and enjoyable for you guys to watch, yeah, to watch and learn. Okay, so however, lastly, well, before I end my class, I hope that you guys gain something. I hope you guys learn something new in this lesson. So before we end our class, so we will recap lah. So we have learned for today 3 things, right? So we have learned 3 things in our class for today. So the first one is we have learned about past simple tenses. We have learned about past simple sentence. You have the verb and you add ed. Okay? And then you have the past continuous tenses. So past continuous tenses structure is you have the verb, yeah, you have the verb, you need to have was or were and the verb to be, and then you need to add ing. Okay? Another thing that you guys need to remember is that for the past simple and past continuous, you also need to have, you usually would need to include a, a time frame. And that time frame needs to be happening in the past. So it could be yesterday, 2 days ago, yeah, 1 year ago, okay, a few minutes ago, okay. And then the last part, we have learned about phrasal verbs. So phrasal verbs, we have the verbs with the particle. Sorry. So we have the verb plus particle. So particle would be either a preposition or adverb. So those preposition or adverbs will be off, on, up, down, yeah. And then when these two are combined, so it will become a phrasal verbs. So we phrasal verbs. We have two meanings, which is, so phrasal verbs, it can deliver two meanings. So one, it has the literal meaning, and the other one is the idiomatic meanings. Yeah. So okay. So I think that is enough for us to recap on our lesson for today. So if you guys have any question about the lesson for today, so you guys can try to message me at Telegram. So I promise I will try to answer and explain to you as efficiently, as accurately as possible. I will do my best to help you lah in your questions lah. Yeah. So do not be shy. Just ask questions to me in my Telegram. So I think that is all for our class today. Thank you very much for watching, for attending our online class for today. So I will see you in our next class. So stay at home and stay safe, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye, everyone. Okay.